Behind a fearsome defensive performance, did the Arizona Cardinals just save their 2024 season? It's PHNX Cardinals postgame now. It's the PHNX Cardinals post-game show, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. The Arizona Cardinals knock off the Chargers in last-second fashion. Like this video, drop a comment. This video brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why. It's never ordinary. Cardinals get an unordinary, maybe an extraordinary dub against the Chargers on Monday Night Football. 17-15 is the final score. Johnny Venerable, the playmaker, Brittan, Golden, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. We got Brack live from State Farm Stadium in just a couple minutes to break it all down. And Brittan, we said it before the game. We said it on the halftime show. It didn't matter how it looked like, and at times it was certainly ugly. The Arizona Cardinals had to find a way to win this game, get to 3-4 respectfully, and save their season. I believe they did that.
They did. It was really ugly to watch, but they did what they had to do. Defense stepped up, played really well, like we talked about at halftime. Played well in the second half. They bent a little bit, but they didn't break. They didn't allow a touchdown today, which is actually great. And they really kept you in. The offense was mediocre.
Yeah.
Guys dropping balls, play calling suspect, but I mean, James Conner did what James Conner does and put the team on his back essentially and turned a few plays that should have been losses actually and turned them into giant plays out there. And, without him, I just don't know where your offense is.
I mean, we're going to talk about all of it. What's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr.? Is Drew Petzing still on the hot seat? I believe he is. But this game was about the defense for the Arizona Cardinals. The defense that has been much maligned, the defense that has minimal, significant cap investments, the defense that's lost Darius and B.J. Ojolari and Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols. They came out and said, you know what? We're going to put forth an effort that's going to allow us to shut out Justin Herbert and company from the end zone. And you've got the DNA of both your head coach and Jonathan Gannon and the fingerprints of Nick Rallis all over this defense. I don't care who you are, what it looks like. I don't care that Justin Herbert threw for 350 yards with no interceptions. You hold a team coached by Jim Harbaugh and quarterbacked by Justin Herbert out of the end zone for 4 quarters. That's a commendable job. That's the reason they won today. Yes, they won the turnover battle. Yeah, they ran the ball effectively, but when push came to shove, had the Chargers scored one time, this game's over, they lose, right? And Nick Rallis said, you know what? I'm going to play off this crowd. I'm going to play off my defense. I'm going to get overachievers like Loquan Jones and Mac Wilson and Zaven Collins to get after Justin Herbert. And they did just enough. How about some statistics for you? This defense held the Chargers' vaunted running game with 2 first-round tackles and a first-round guard out of Boston College. 22 carries, 59 yards, 2.7 yards per clip. I mean, that is the opposite of how Jim Harbaugh wants to win games. We're going to talk about the offense. There's still a massive room for improvement. But you got to feel good if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan today. Number one, you get a dub on national TV. Number one, you've gotten through, for the most part, the peaks and valleys of a very difficult schedule to begin this year, the hardest in the NFL. And then you couple all that by your offense looks completely disheveled, and somehow you have 3 victories after 7 games. I think you'll take that at this point. It has not been perfect. Sure as hell it was ugly in this game, Brittan, but this defensive performance, it might have just saved the season.
Agreed. I mean, like you said, they held them to 59 yards. We looking at arguably the worst rush defense in the NFL with the Cardinals. And we said it before the game, they're going to have to come in here and they're going to have to stop the run. If you can stop the run and force them to throw the ball, we said it, you have a good chance to win this game. Now, did we sit here thinking that Justin Herbert was going to throw for 350? No. But Your defense did exactly what they had to do. They didn't allow touchdowns. They forced field goals all day long, and offense did just enough to score points. I mean, the defense is obviously the best part of what we saw tonight, and the only reason that the Cardinals had an opportunity to win this game.
They were tremendous. And again, like I think we all expected this team to be an offensive team. I certainly thought so. And you could make an argument the defense has been better than the offense. I mean, the offense, and they did just enough today. The offense is averaging just over 16 points per game the last 5 weeks. But it's been good enough against, San Francisco and now the Los Angeles Chargers, where you're still very viable in an NFC West where the San Francisco 49ers are losing playmakers by the day. Brandon Ayuk done for the year. Deebo Samuel sick in the hospital. We wish him well. Christian McCaffrey, where is he at? The Rams are a joke. And the Seahawks, I think, are pretty fraudulent. I mean, the NFC West is there for the Cardinals. Like, if you're getting these defensive performances and this offense isn't even close to scratching the surface, how do you not say, you know what, we're going to add to this team? We're going to help Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis defensively because they deserve it. And if you're Drew Petzing, I was ready to get on this postgame show if they lost this game. If Chad Ryland misses this kick, this postgame press conference or this postgame show is very different for a lot of different reasons. But Drew Petzing, I don't think he's quieted the critics. I think Kyler Murray obviously has to be better, has to be more accurate. But this deep passing game still needs to be better. This enigma with Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping balls. I mean, I don't know what's going on. But, I mean, to critical thinkers' point, Marvin looks depressed. I'm depressed watching this offense. But for one singular night, running the ball and playing defense, which I did not think was possible against this Charger team, was enough. Like, your run game, 29 carries, 181 yards, 6.2 yards per carry. That brings us to our Sanderson Ford drive of the game, and it's the last drive of the game, led by James Conner and company. James Conner, very much the savior for this team, but give Kyler Murray credit. I mean, he delivered accurate passes, albeit one was dropped by Marv. The last series for the Arizona Cardinals, they kept the ball and pushing it downfield. I mean, and then James Conner inside the red zone. I'm going to read you some statistics here. Cardinals got down there. Kyler Murray handing it off to James Conner, 5 yards, 6 yards up the middle. Kyler Murray passed to James Conner, 33 yards. It's not pretty, but it's effective for a singular night.
It is, and you said it too. Like, James Conner is the only shining point right now on this offense.
Yeah.
And when you get him involved, good things happen. And we've been saying that. We watched it happen at the end of last season. We watched it happen at the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
And you just go back and look at some of these games that we've lost, and there's no James Conner in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we talked about it last week. It was like, when you get away from finding ways to put the ball in his hands, you're putting your offense at a disadvantage. Yeah. Because obviously we can't get any type of play calling to get stuff done. And credit, like you said, credit to Kyler Murray, right? He extended some plays today that he should have been sacked on and found James Conner. And James Conner turned bad plays into good plays.
Kyler Murray still with over 200 yards of total offense. This is the number one defense in the NFL and had 2 total touchdowns. We're going to get to Kyler Murray, but first, should we get to our X Factor, player of the game? Damon, Dawg, cue it up. Who else would it be? It's the Arizona Cardinal defense as a whole. 3 sacks, a forced fumble, 0 touchdowns allowed. I would tell you a funny statistic about when the last time the Cardinals, held a team with no touchdowns. I can't remember it, sure as hell. But Nick Rallis, Jonathan Gannon, take a bow. I truly believe, like, if the Cardinals get to where they want to be this year, we're going to look back and we're going to point to this game. We're going to point to the defense, Brittan Golden. 4 quarters. And then, by the way, we were talking about it, they lose Dennis Gardeck. LJ Collier goes down. Max Melton has to be thrust in the lineup. Sean Murphy-Bunting leaves the game. I mean, they are doing it with practice squad players and depth pieces. But you know what? At the end of the day, I trust this head coaching staff from a defensive standpoint. This is why you hired Jonathan Gannon, to instill a mindset where you could win these kind of games. When the offense, for whatever reason, 7 games in, is still very much a work in progress. So I think you got to feel very comfortable with the direction of this defense after recent weeks. Like, as bad as that was against Green Bay, it was wet. They had no pass rush. This week, they knew they had to step up. You typically, the Cardinals play good defense like every other week. And guess what? With their offense on paper, that should be enough.
You would think it would be enough. Like you said, with all the playmakers that we have offensively, it's almost astounding how poor of an offensive production that we put out there every week. And I mean, we talked about it before the season with the addition of a Marvin Harrison type, and we're not seeing what we wanted to see.
Yep.
Right? Draft came through, all this. You saw the offseason workouts and training camp, and he looks good. But we're not getting that production. And we're not seeing, he's not being targeted. And at the same time, when he is targeted, we're starting to see balls hit the ground. We're seeing balls hit him in the chest, go to the ground.
I mean, that's going to be the talking point all week.
And that, it can't happen. That cannot happen. One, I feel like he's letting he's letting the football get into his chest.
He's not into the game.
He looked depressed most of the game. I saw it in the chat earlier, and it was, I mean, there's times the effort off the line of scrimmage is not good. And, you know, I get it. You're upset about not getting the ball. I mean, I would be too if I was in this situation, but you can't, the body language is going to, it's
going to dominate the headlines this week, both locally and nationally, as it should. And I hope the Cardinals come out and they embrace him. They put their arms around him and they say, you know what? We all have to be better collectively. Because, I mean, this is just, it's turning into an enigma. I mean, like with this situation where it's in his head. I mean, dropping that pass on the final drive, and thankfully it didn't burn them. Could you imagine had it did? But, like, he's wide open, not getting the ball thrown to him. They're not in sequence at all. It's like, again, we're talking about trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Like, it doesn't feel like anything's easy for this passing game. I mean, like, the Cardinals won this game because they ran the football and played defense. Kyler Murray threw for 145 yards. The longest pass downfield, I think, was the last play to James Conner. And that was like, Kyler Murray doesn't.
It was a 5-yard pass.
Kyler Murray doesn't throw the ball beyond 10 yards anymore. Like, again, I was fully prepared to come on this postgame show and rip this offense, and we're going to get to that. But I don't want to undersell the job by this defense. The issue, though, is I don't know if this defensive performance is sustainable, especially on a short week going to Miami. Tua could be back. Like, I think, like, whatever you get from the defense, you're just happy. Like, we're watching that game, and even if they had scored, if the Chargers had scored in the fourth quarter instead of kick that field goal, we still would have come on this postgame show and applauded the defensive effort. Yeah. We would have said, you overachieved, great job. It sucks that you lost. It's not your fault. The fact that they won them this game, I mean, and Kyler Murray making plays with his legs, and James Conner, and of course Chad Ryland at the end, like, it is unbelievable. I cannot fathom that they won this game this way. Never did I thought 100 out of 100 times it would end up like this. Like, I don't know what you do to fix this passing game, but in the meantime, Cardinal fans, they can take solace in this one singular outing by their defense in the run game.
Yeah, and like you said, what is that sustainable? I mean, you're not going to be able to hold every team to no touchdowns.
Yep.
For the rest of the season. Would it be, ideal? Yes, but it's not going to happen. And if you can't put 20-plus points on the board offensively, I mean, and 20 is not enough, honestly. But if you can't consistently put 20 points on the board on offense, you are not going to win many games.
Yep.
And what we're seeing right now, if anything, knock on wood that nothing bad happens to a James Conner or anybody like that. You lose James, you have zero offense right now.
He's not even, like, Deer Mercado's touching the ball like one time a game. Trey Benson, I don't think, touched the ball. I mean, it is, this team right now is, you hope you get some turnovers, but for the most part, you're running the football. And again, like, I'm not going to gloss over their run game. James had 19 for 101. We're going to get to that. As a team, they rushed for 181 yards. And like that, the offensive line, for 2 straight weeks, they haven't given up a sack. Kyler Murray hasn't been sacked in 2 weeks. It's one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Like, tell me this, everybody in the chat, how is this team running the ball this well and not giving up sacks, and they can't have a passing game?
Well, I don't even want to say that they're playing. I mean, they are, don't get me wrong, they're running the ball really well. When they get the ball, when James Conner's running the ball, they're running the ball well. They're creating lanes. But when you look at it from a passing standpoint, I feel like we saw Kelvin Beachum look like he was just standing in mud. Khalil Mack got back there in the first
But he was quiet
half.
since then.
But I mean, even that though, Kyler was under pressure. He was under pressure the whole night. Like, there was time he was in the pocket. I know they were talking about Marvin Harrison was wide open down the field, but like, go watch the play. Kyler Murray's weaving inside and outside of this pocket trying to find some space because there's 5 guys in his face.
Yep.
As much as they're doing well in the run game, they're not doing well protecting in the pass game.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much duress back there for him he can't step up and make the throws. He can't step into a throw because he's got hands in the face. So, I mean, you would think that your pass game would have a lot more, it would be a lot better right now the way you're running the football, but I don't know.
Damon, let's jump into some of these super chats here off the top. Big thanks to everybody. We're going to keep it positive here because, I mean, Cardinals saved their season tonight. There's no other way to put it. Drop a like on this video. The goal is 1,000 likes here on a post-game show. We got 1,100 people watching live on YouTube. That should be easy, right? Damon, Dawg, kick us off.
Dow, 499, a lot to work on, but being able to close that game out at the end is huge. Good win and go Cards.
I mean, it's another game-winning drive for Kyler Murray to put under his belt. And again, outside of the tip pass that was caught by the defensive lineman, you know, Kyler was mostly good. Was he great? No, he missed some throws. He had that open throw to Zay Jones. Again, the disconnect there. Like, I don't even know what to make of this passing game. So it's almost like Kyler Murray is like a rookie. And it's like the passing game is not refined. Just use your legs. Except he's in year 6, year 7, and Drew Petzing's been his OC for 2 years. Like, I'm going to take it for tonight. Let's get to Dylan, Damon, Dawg. $20. Thank you so much, Dylan, for that.
$20. Drew Petzing shouldn't have a job by the morning. Kyler and Connor winning this should not bail him out.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to gloss over it for a night.
It will, because the win is going to kind of take away from it, because we were talking about it before we came on air. Like, the fact that the Cardinals won this game is going to take heat away from Drew Petzing. But, I mean, I get what you were trying to do at the end of the game. But
I mean, the analytics say
you're moving the ball,
and that's a Gannon call too. By the way, like I'm not gonna rip Drew for that. I think I'm ripping Drew for what it took place through quarters 1 through like 3.5.
The whole game essentially. But yeah, it's very inconsistent. We had that drive in the second quarter. Had a good drive. You took 7 minutes off the clock.
Yeah,
10 plays, 70+ yards, and you finish it off with a touchdown at Greg Dortch. Like, that is what you would like to see all game long. And I feel like he has a drive like that, and then we see nothing like that for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Damon.
Sorry, next super chat comes from Chaz, 499. It's an ugly win. Petzing is holding back the potential of what this offense can do, and it's frustrating. Defense, Ryland, Connor, and K1 for the win.
Listen, Chad Ryland, you got an apology from this schlub of a podcast host, because at no scenario did I want to see your face tonight in a game-winning situation, with all due respect. And all you've done, young man, since you had that kick block for a touchdown against the Niners, is make every flipping field goal. Take a bow, sir. We appreciate the job you're doing. You know, you got, Matt Prater's on IR for at least another 3 weeks. Like, they're going to have to roll with this guy. And guess what? The offense isn't good enough to score touchdowns right now. Like, he was needed tonight. He gets a game ball from this podcast host. So thank you, Chad, stepping up big. Alex, what do you got for us?
Alex, 199. Dub is a dub, even if it's a dirty one.
Agreed.
Bruce Arians used to love these kind of wins.
A win is a win, especially in the close games. These are the ones that help you. I mean, I'm not going to say this is a playoff team, but these are the types of wins that at the end of the season have put you in position to make playoffs. You got to win the close ones.
Yeah. The Cardinals' schedule opens up significantly. We always talked about it. Can this team somehow, at the very least, get to 4-6 before the bye? They give themselves an opportunity. They got 3 chances to do that now. They got Miami, who, even with Tua back, is not a good team. They got the Bears, who are white hot. Everybody loves them. And then they got the Jets, who are not a good football team. Like, they ought to be able to win one of their next 3. If they win 2 of their next 3, guess what? They're 500 going into the bye. So, a ton of reason to be optimistic. We still need to see it come together better offensively, though, Damon.
Ryan Carley, $2. JV right again. The man, the myth, the legend.
I don't know what I was right about. I predicted Chad Ryland to blow that game, so I will take the L there. But here's what I will say. Like, Drew Petzing, I want him to prove us wrong. Like, I want him to figure it out, because this season isn't going to be saved with, like, firing Drew Petzing. I like making a change in the offseason. That's one thing. And I don't even know if Gannon would make a change in season. I like the way that game was trending. He might have had, I put this on Twitter, he might have had his hand forced. Like, Drew, I don't have any choice, man. We shut them out offensively, and you still couldn't score points. But I want to see Drew figure it out. They have too many good players. Like, this thing with Marvin, what are you doing? You guys got to lock yourselves in a room and figure this out. Like, you're a performing receiver in the NFL. You played with Larry Fitzgerald. Like, how does this happen where you've got this all-time generational prospect, and his confidence has just been sucked from his psyche?
I don't know. It's hard to watch, because all the teams I played on, you knew who your number one guy was, and regardless of how you were finding ways to try to get the ball in his hands early.
Yeah.
Right. To create some of that, but you don't see it here. Like it's not even you don't even care to do it.
Yeah.
Until you start finding ways, it's going to continue being like this. You're not helping his confidence in it because now he's not his head. Honestly, his head didn't look like he was in the game at all after the first couple, after the first half at least. So, I mean, it's like if you're not going to help him with any type of confidence, I don't know what you're doing. Like you got to throw him a hitch route, throw him a smoke route, throw it a quick slant, do what you got to do, right? I mean, anything, just get him involved in the game because he goes three and a half quarters and he's got 4 targets and 2 catches for 20 yards.
It's a joke.
It's just ridiculous.
Keep those likes coming here on a Football Monday. Cardinals save their season. Let's keep it going. Damon, Dawg.
The 90s Poppy. Love the win. 18 needs to step it up, though.
I mean, like, he needs to step it up. Kyler Murray needs to step it up. Drew Petzing, like.
Offensively as a whole, everything needs to be
It's ugly. But, again, like, you got a lot of season left to figure it out. Like, that's why this win was so important. Like, if you lost this game, then it's like, where do you go from here? There's a viable avenue for this team to make a run for the NFC West now. Like, very viable. You're 2-0 in the division. The division stinks. The Niners are in shambles. You beat them. The Rams are dead. They play at the Vikings this Thursday. They're dead if they lose that game. And the Seahawks are a joke. Don't talk to me about the Seahawks and Geno Smith. The division is there for you to win. But you got to figure the passing game has to wake up. Where's the passing game?
Next super chat comes from our friend Richard, 999, says, I will agree that the defense won this game for us, but when the offense had to score, they did so. Will agree that the defense won this game for us, but when the offense had to score, they did so. He just so good, he had to say it twice.
I love it, Richard, and I agree with you. Like, the offense, every time we sat here in the studio, Brittan, we're like, the offense needs to get points this drive. They got points.
Yeah.
And just do that every possession. Figure it out. Here's what I will say. I feel like the Cardinals probably would have scored like a James Conner rushing touchdown.
I would have preferred that. I know
you can't give Herbert the ball.
The analytics side, but just the momentum you had. You just watched James Conner before they started taking a knee carry the entire Chargers defense for 10 yards. It's like, just keep it going. I mean, step on the throat at this point. Why are we scared of it? They're not. It turns into a 2-possession game.
Yeah,
if you get in there right there. So I don't know.
I think that's a Jonathan Gannon call, and it worked today. So you have to say it was the right decision. I'm not going to sit here and say it was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
There were some decisions today that we can break down. The egregious Clayton Tune double sneak, that, again, fireable offense in my opinion. The egregious end around James Conner, lost to 6 yards. But when you get a dub, all that's kind of just say, hey, we're going to correct this next time. Damon, let's keep those going, my guy.
Yeah, Drew Petzing is back watching the post-game show 199. LOL, I suck. Oops.
Figure it out, Drew.
He got out of the locker room quick.
Not going to win many games, not scoring 20 points, Drew. Figure it out.
AZ Moses, 89, 199. JV, trust in Chad Ryland, 2-game winners now.
Hey, Chad, I'm done slinging hate until you screw up again. Like Damon, we were talking in the studio. Can we be real? Like, you and I were both saying he was the worst kicker in the NFL last year.
He put up like maybe the worst kicking season in like modern NFL history last year. It was really bad. Good for Chad, man.
Hey,
what a comeback.
Chad, can you give some of your confidence to Marvin, please?
Comeback player of the year, maybe? People are talking about it. PR Mac, $2. The curse of the black uniform is lifted.
I think that curse is lifted. I think national TV, Monday Night Football. Jim Harbaugh, I thought I saw he was 6-0 in Monday night games, dating back to his time with San Fran. Like, this should be a building block for this team. And I'll tell you what, I was happy for Kyler Murray after the game. I was talking to, NFL ESPN reporter. I couldn't remember who it was, but basically said, like, she was like, how do you do it with your legs and blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, we were sloppy, man. Like, we were lucky to win this game. Our defense played great. These are the kind of games that hopefully renew Kyler Murray's confidence. Like, this is the first time, like, I didn't play my best. And the defense had to pick us up in the run game. And I made a play with my legs when I had to. Like, these are the kind of games that have evaded Kyler Murray in his career with the Cardinals. And it's nice to see him win one of these.
Yeah.
Eric Lambert, $5. It was good to see Gannon getting fired up on the sideline.
Was he excited with the win? I didn't see it. I blacked out when Chad made the kick.
I think people were saying he was getting pretty emotional in the first half as well.
He
sense of urgency in this game from Gannon.
I mean, this is what I'll say. You can nitpick the Clayton Tune calls. You can nitpick what he did at the end of the game. Jonathan Gannon's background is defense, so you're going to feel good when the defense plays well.
Yep.
When the defense plays well without talent, that should tell you everything you need to know. Like, go ask the New York Jets without Robert Saleh, and they can't play defense now, and they're stuck with Aaron Rodgers. Like, what's the DNA of this team? Like, we've been saying it for Brittan for like weeks. The DNA of this team should be the offense. Is it just the defense now? Is it right now the defense under Jonathan Gannon? I'm okay with that because the offense isn't close to figuring it out.
No, agreed. And like we talked about it the whole time, on paper, your offense is everything that you really wanted coming into this season. You got the guy you wanted at the receiver. You know, you've got a quarterback, you've got a good running backs, good tight end. Like, you've got what you need. But honestly, the defense right now, the games we've won, the defense has done what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, they got some type of pressure. Like, don't get me wrong, we had 3 sacks today. Was it a lot of pressure? No, we didn't get a lot of pressure, but we got pressure when we needed it, and you made plays with it, right? And defense kept you in this football game. Until this offense figures it out, the defense is the identity.
Can I just say something real quick? And it's not going to come off well, and I'm not really overly concerned. I see some Charger fans crying about the MHJ personal foul call, which, you know, I don't love that call, but at the same time, I've been following this team my entire adult life. The Cardinals never get calls, especially at home. Like, the officiating has been in favor most of the time of the opposing team in their own stadium. I'm totally okay with him getting that call. Like, I'm not going to apologize for it.
Call or not, whether it was called or whether it wasn't, like, at the end of the day, the rule is you can't forcibly
hit his head
to
with
the
his
head
helmet.
or neck, and he went helmet to helmet with his head, you know. And is it going to get called every time? No, it's obviously an official's discretion, and nobody likes it, but it happens to everybody.
Johnny, you don't owe anybody an apology for that.
Well, I've seen a lot of that online. I'm just like, hey guys,
I'll get over it.
This team has been robbed of so many calls throughout how about the Lions game with the pick 6 on golf that they called back? Like, I mean, the pass to Ladd over his head, pass interference, like, that was a good no call to wave off that flag. That was egregious.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to argue that was a double move, but no shot.
That was an egregious call. And, you know, listen, the Chargers, the Cardinals dominated the Chargers up front on both lines of scrimmage, which is not something I thought was going to happen. Cardinals offensive line dominated, Cardinals defensive line dominated. Cardinals won the turnover battle and the time of possession. Like, the officials didn't steal the game from the Chargers. The Chargers didn't score a touchdown. You don't score a touchdown, you should not win games.
You're not going to win very many
I'm
games.
sorry. Like, I don't want to hear about Charger fans, all 6 Charger fans complaining about this. All right, Damon, let's keep it going.
Next super chat comes from Nick Steiner, $5. No wonder they don't throw to Marvin. Can't catch a cold unless it's a body catch with no contest. Got to clean that up. Not good enough.
He does. I mean, when you come down to that, you need to see your number one, your clear-cut number one receiver. You need to see him go attack the football. Go use your hands. Go get it. All right? Go catch the football. Don't let that ball come to you, because it's going to be a lot of batted balls down. It's going to be a lot of balls hit you in the chest and fall down, and that's not what we want to see out of number one. So attack it. I mean, yeah. I don't know how else to get it across, but like,
yeah, I mean, we've talked about Devontae Adams as a rookie, looked very much like this. I'm not going to make excuses for Marv. You just got to, they've invested too much. I'm still believing in Marv. I think he's going to get it figured out. And they were winning games without his impact. So, again, you've got time to figure it out now. You've bought yourself some time. Let's check in with Jonathan Gannon, who just met with Brack and the rest of the Phoenix media following the big win on Monday night.
Kardec had a knee and Sean had a neck. Both guys couldn't return. I thought big-time physical game. Knew that's what kind of game it was going to be. Man, this is loud. Knew what kind of game it was going to be. Defense held them out of the end zone, which was huge. Those stops there. I thought we did a good job controlling the line of scrimmage, stopping the run. I thought our offense made some timely plays, ran it extremely well. I thought James Conner was lights out, had 150-some yards of offense, I think. Run game looked good to start and made plays when we needed to. I thought Blake Gillikin was lights out, a couple punts, changed field position a couple times. Obviously, Chad to hit the walk-off. What will go unnoticed, so I'm going to point it out because it shouldn't go unnoticed, is we throw a pick, James Conner strips the guy, and we recover. Now, we punted, but it's different for the offense. Their offense starting on the 30 or whatever, their first possession, right? So that goes into our mode of play. And then I thought when James, he made a good play on the screen, and they stripped him, and we're chasing the ball and retained possession. And then I know Starr had the one at the down there inside the 5 on that long pass. I thought it was a great play by him. But those are huge plays that are going to get overlooked, where those guys, man, they care, their effort's there, they want to win on the next week. Yeah, I thought he was lights out. I mean, there was a lot of times, he's getting 4 yards and it should be probably 1 or 2. Obviously, some explosives he had. He forced, the way he was running the football forced them out of shell, which no one's really been able to do that, truthfully, on tape at least. So I thought that was good. That opened up some things in the pass game, I thought. And he put the team on his back today and carried us home. Yeah, that was a pretty spectacular play. 1,000%, 1,000%. I mean, it's attention to detail, playmaking, all that. I thought Dortch, I think he had the one drop on 3rd down, comes back, catches the touchdown pass. You know what I mean? That'll come. I'm not worried about that. We did enough today. That's how the game had to be played, and that's how you score 1 more point than them, you feel good.
You never apologize for a win. And Jonathan Gannon getting a dub over Jim Harbaugh, you don't apologize for that. That's significant. Now, were the Cardinals the more talented team? I believe so. Were they at home? Absolutely. You needed to win this game, and you got it done. And again, they're on a short week this week. They got to get it corrected, the things that have gone awry. But, I mean, that's a coach that I feel like can walk maybe a little bit easier this week, knowing that, hey, we're better than what we've shown so far. And at the same time, we faced the best schedule in the NFL, and we've come out of it not necessarily unscathed by any stretch, but we're fighting. We're being competitive, right? I see a lot of snark on Twitter from national people like, oh, man, the Cardinals can't get it together, and Marv's a bust and all this. No, the Cardinals beat Jim Harbaugh and company. The Chargers were 3-2, and you're not going to apologize for wins. These are foundational wins that they're going to be able to look back on throughout the course of this year and beyond and say, you know what, that was a big deal for us. Nobody cares about the box score, how it looked. I feel like this is a game where, as Jonathan Gannon put it in there, Kyler Murray made big time plays to win in this game offensively.
Oh, he did, and it's just his presence in the pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many times when you look, we watched this game, he was under pressure a lot. There were plenty of times he should have been sacked. Somehow he found a way to get out of it, whether he threw the ball away or, made a completion or found James Conner or somebody. I mean, he did what he had to do to avoid negative plays, and that's what you want to see out of your guy. I mean, it was ugly. Don't get me wrong. From start to finish, it was ugly. But you got the win, and that was the most important part of leaving this game tonight.
We're going to hear from Kyler Murray right around the corner here on a PHNX Cardinals postgame show. But first, let's talk about our friends at Branded Bills, one of our favorite new sponsors. I like to tell this story because it happens all the time. I go and I pick up my kiddos at school. I see a ton of Branded Bills caps. They're everywhere. They're taking over the valley and beyond for good reason.
Johnny, I was at the Arizona football game, and I'm not kidding. I saw over 100 Branded Bills hats. It's the hat of just Arizona sports, I'd argue.
I agree with that. We got great hats too here at PHNX Sports, but it's a local company from Mesa, Arizona. They've got that local touch, the charm. They put so much effort into truckers, fitteds, beanies, tees. They've got it covered. No matter what you're looking for, if you're a local business, contact them. They've got the best custom headwear money can buy. Start your order with their dedicated team, and you're going to get exactly what you pay for, which is elite, on top of using the bonus code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. We're very fortunate around here, the PHNX studios. We got Branded Bills on the reg. Check them out right now. Head to brandedbills.com. Again, use PHNX as the bonus code for $20 off your first purchase. So nice of our friends at Branded Bills, saving money every single time. Speaking of saving money, how about saving money with our friends at Circle K? It's America's thirst stop. I stopped off en route to the studio today. I said, I got to get hyped for today's game. How about a 79-cent Polar Pop or Froster? My 9-year-old son loves that. You should too. Again, that was a deal over the course of the summer, Brittan, and they said, you know what? We're going to up the ante. Indefinite deals. Deals on deals with our friends at Circle K. Join the Inner Circle for free. New free membership program. So easy to download. On your first 5 fill-ups, save 25 cents per gallon. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day after the fact. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. We're going to count some cards here in a little bit. Make sure to like this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. We got 1,200 watching on YouTube alone. If you're on the Twitter streets, jump on over to the YouTube, like this video, leave a comment. Let your voice be heard. Speaking of voices, Damon, let's jump back into those super chats if we could.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming up on Brewski 523-499. I watched this game, slumming it up on my phone per betting. The playmakers made plays. K1 and JC. James runs like he expects to not go down one-on-one.
That's exactly what you need from your running back. And he's done it since he's been here, right? He runs downhill. He runs tough. When he hits the hole, he's not dancing in there. He's trying to run people over. He's making plays with his feet. He doesn't go down on first contact. I mean, he's a number one running back in the NFL for a reason. One of the top guys for sure. I mean, just the way he plays the game and how, the dedication, how he works. I mean, he's fun to watch.
I love the slumming it on his phone, watching the game, putting in bets like a degenerate, like your boys right here. Danny, your bets hit tonight, by the way?
Nah, man. Nah, none of mine. Mine are aggressive, though.
Not too much off. Typically, your bets aren't going to hit when both teams are struggling to score 20 points.
Yeah,
but,
that's tough.
Johnny, you know what bet did hit tonight?
What's that?
That would happen to be our pregame picks bet super boost that we did.
Whoa!
Isn't that interesting?
That? It did. Plus 250 with our friends at Bet365. Boosted to plus 550. Cards money line check. Trey McBride plus 50 yards. He got to 51. Your boys of PHNX Cardinals hooking you up with our friends at Bet365. And again, it probably hit because I didn't bet it because I just slummed it yesterday on the NFL streets, not betting the Cardinals. But congrats, everybody who took advantage of our boosted part. Look at that boost, man. Anytime you're getting boosted plus 300, the football gods, the betting gods are with you. What do you think about that?
Plus 550? Man.
Dinner's on Bet365 for me tonight.
That's right.
Well, I see that. Should be up for all of us. Damon, how much money did you put on it?
Damon's buying several Hungry Mans on the way home. Let's keep these super chats going.
Mac Daddy 714-499. Big time players make big time plays in the night games. MHJ was humbling to watch. On a need, the receivers need to step up.
Marv has no confidence right now. You need to rebuild his confidence. You need to, if we're to believe Jonathan Gannon, Drew Petzing, and Nick Rallis are elite developers of talent, can coach guys up, that you need them to do that right now, because somehow you have botched this development of the 4th overall pick, the generational prospect that we all saw for 3+ years at Ohio State. Like, you guys have that to own now. Figure it out. You got to get back to basics with Marv.
Yeah. I don't know. I've said it a million times already, but just get him involved and get him involved early. You got to. I mean, the way he showed it today, like I said, it looked like he didn't want to be there, and that in turn probably comes with not getting the targets and not getting any action. But I mean, this is the NFL, bud. It's not going to work out for you every week like you would like for it to, and you can't pout about it. You can't look depressed about it. You got to go out there and try and you got to block. You got to do all the little things, right? So when the ball does come your way, you're ready to make a play. Sulking over it and thinking about not getting the ball and being, pouting about it. When your play does come, you're not going to be ready, and then you can't make a play. So get him involved. Find some ways to get a smile on his face during the game and get his head into it.
Let's hear from Kyler Murray. He's got his head in the game, another game-winning drive in as many as 2 weeks for the franchise quarterback. Here's K1 after the game.
To go 3-4 instead of 2-5, be right there in the division. Just one game at a time, one day at a time. And we know where this puts us, but at the same time, we can't look too far ahead. Obviously, like I said, we got to stay locked into the process. No, I mean, he's safety valve. Somebody. I've been telling people since I've been playing with James, I've known he's what type of back he is, and obviously he's underrated around the world in the league and how he's viewed. But I know there's nothing he can't do in my eyes.
I mean, James Conner, it was a toss-up between he and the defense for player of the game. And you saw the confidence that K1 has in him. And again, like, I think you run it until the wheels fall off here at this point, until teams can stop it. It's important to go north and south with James, but, contract year, 28 years old. I mean, he's your offensive identity right now.
No, he really is. And you see it. And like I said earlier, when he's involved early and often in these games, offensively, you're moving the ball. Whether you're scoring points or not, you're at least moving the ball up and down the field. And James Conner's been the only – I mean, he's the factor. Although with the 3 wins we have this season, His yards per carry is probably at 5, if not better.
Yep.
Or close to 5. And they're finding ways to get the ball. Like we're talking about trying to do with Marvin Harrison. You're finding ways to get the ball into James Conner's hands.
That's true.
And that's what helped you win this ball game today. I think you have to start trying to find ways to do that with Marvin to get him in. But what you're doing right now, like James Conner is keeping you in football games because he's the only offensive weapon that you have that's outside of McBride. I think Trey McBride's playing well, but you still have to get him the ball too. But
we've got Bo Brack calling into the show. Damon, is he ready to go?
He'll be ready in about 10 seconds here.
Oh my goodness, Bo Brack is early to a show, looking as handsome as ever on the field at State Farm Stadium. Fresh off, that's got to be Bo Brack's first dub in person on a primetime game for your boys at PHNX Cardinals. Bo, that's the first time since what, Thursday Night Football? Saints Cardinals? Is that the first dub?
Look,
you've
vibes
seen?
are high, guys. Oh my God, yes, I think so. This is the second one in the black uniforms as well. That was the same Saints game that they it was 2 birds with 1 stone.
Did you have the barf bag ready when the Cardinals opted to go for the game-winning field goal instead of continuing to pound the football? Like, take me through the thought process there. I know the analytics say kick the field goal, but at that point, the Arizona Cardinals, to me, putting it in the hands of Chad Ryland, who, give him credit, came through for his head coach twice in 3 weeks.
Look, the guy has 1 missed kick, and it was an egregious, bad missed kick right into the back of nearly his offensive lineman. But at the same time, he's missed 1, and James Conner did all the heavy lifting on that drive, taking it down 33 yards, putting them within striking distance. That was a PAT for the most part for the Cardinals to put this one away. So less nervous than my co-host, Johnny Venerable, who I did see your tweet. Good thing it was a bad take.
Old tweets exposed can just live in my feed here. Bo, let's talk about this defense. Not surrendering a touchdown would have been criminal for them to lose this game. And again, Drew Petzing comes away unscathed for another week. We'll talk about him in a second. But Nick Rallis, man, out there with practice squad players, with replacements, depth key pieces, rookies, Max Melton. What can you say from the second-year defensive coordinator for the Redbirds?
Yeah, it was another, really strong performance that was kind of led by this defense that bent and didn't break, and 5 field goals, right? And, they get the crucial turnover on the opening drive, the defensive series that they had, which was they needed every bit of that because they would have put the Chargers in position to score, potentially their only touchdown in the game, and that could have been it right there. So, it was you saw some really exotic looks at some points. Like you saw Dennis Gardeck and Zaven Collins on one side and Kazir White and Mac Wilson on another. Like he was trying to really make the looks different and try to slow this thing down. And it helped significantly in the run game. Taking Dobbins out the entire time was huge for this team. And it really put the emphasis on Justin Herbert and his lack of receivers the rest of the game.
How did you think Kyler Murray played before we talk about Marv?
No, it was a bit of an uneven performance, but look, out of the gates, I think it was their second offensive series. He's getting 2 drops from 2 of his key playmakers. Certainly didn't help. Didn't look good overall statistically. There's still a disconnect, I think, in the downfield passing game and something that they're going to have to, on the fly, figure out. But overall, the quarterback putting the team on his back at times as well. The 40-plus yard, touchdown score, and then I think the nice little pitch and catch with Greg Dortch there in the red zone was very beautiful. So, 20 times in his career, he's doing something that not a whole lot of guys do, throw a touchdown, run for a touchdown. But at the same time, you're looking for, the next gear. And they just kind of hold serve for the next week in Miami. And can they get back to 500? And can they maybe get a better performance from this offense? I think those could go hand in hand.
Let's talk about this offense. I was ready to get the pitchforks out for one Drew Petzing on this post-game show, and he lives to see another day. Cardinals still surrendering or scoring roughly 16 points per game over the last 5 games. Not good enough. Just 2 touchdowns tonight. And then you've got this Marvin Harrison Jr. enigma saga where it looks like in the broadcast, in the game, his confidence right now, Brittan and I were talking about it, it just feels like an all-time low. That's not an excuse. He has to be more in the game. He can't drop passes. But, what do you make of this ongoing drama with both Drew Petzing and MHJ where it feels like they can't get out of each other's way? Something's got to give.
Yeah, I mean, and this is something that goes back to some of the conversation we had like early on. I think we were having this conversation with Brittan after the first half of the first game, and it's pretty shocking that it continues. Like, how can you not find like layups for this guy to just get him in rhythm, get him going, just find a way to put it in his hands? Like when I talk about those two drops that you had from one from James and then the other from Dortch on that series, like why couldn't you just kind of scheme Marv in those situations and see if he gets to the catch and if he can just kind of find his rhythm out here, play, kind of find an ability to play a little bit faster. And unfortunately, once again, it was just too far in between his targets, and there's just no rhythm to it at all. And it's unfortunate, even in a play where he plays a big role in it, it's almost a bit of a black eye where you've got the helmet, the personal foul that goes 15 yards and is crucial in that game-winning drive, but at the same time, it was a ball that he probably should have come down with. I haven't watched the replay, but it was probably a ball that was very catchable for him.
I mean, Brittan, we talked about it. I do feel like they almost feel like it's a deterrent, like having to get him the football. It almost is like, oh yeah, we want to move the ball. Oh, we have to get Marv involved now. It's like that guy that you don't want like joining your group at school, and it's like, oh, we have to include him because the teacher said so. That's what it feels like with Marv right now.
No, it does. It feels like the targets he does get are, kind of forced targets, right? But not at the right moment, right? If you're gonna do that, start it. Do like when you open the game. Have something where we're gonna run Marv, like I said earlier, on a hitch route. Find a way to get the ball in his hands really quick. Run some quick game. Run some slants, right? To where it is now, it's like you start moving the ball, and then it's almost like a pity throw. We've done 8 to 10 plays, and he hadn't even been looked at. Let's make the pity throw to Marvin and see if we can make a completion, and then it gets dropped, and it's to this point, or it's overthrown or underthrown or however you want to call it, and it doesn't work out. And then you don't see another play to Marvin for 10 to 15 plays.
I mean, Bo, like, where does this go from here?
I mean, I honestly don't. I mean, you just got another week of practice on a short field. I mean, a short week, and it's got to be just like the KISS method, like keep it simple, stupid, and just find a way to generate some easy layups to get your playmaker involved. Let me ask you this, Brittan. I mean, Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon both had mentioned in the post-game presser that there was a ton of shell. And Kyler said, like, there were times where he didn't even feel like they ever really truly got out of shell as far as the coverage situation. How does that really kind of combat what they're trying to do with the downfield passing game?
Well, I mean, the fact that they stayed in a cover 2 shell for most of the game is basically telling you that, one, we didn't believe in your run game. Right? 'Cause if you can't run the football against cover 2, I'm going to, as a defensive coordinator, I'm going to sit in cover 2 all day long. Right? Because it takes a lot of holes out of there for the pass game. So, the fact that I think James Conner, one, we've already talked about how he's the only offensive production we have, but if he doesn't run the football like he did tonight, I mean, you don't get points tonight, because a defense sitting in cover 2 is basically that's telling me we don't believe in your run game.
Yeah.
So we're just going to take every possible. We're going to make it tough for you to throw the football. All right, we're going to keep guys underneath, keep them low. We know you're not throwing it downfield. You haven't shown to anybody all season that you're trying to take deep shots. So that we're going to take that out. We're going to sit guys at 5 to 6 yards. Even if we don't play cover 2, we're going to keep our feet flat at 8 to 10 yards, and we're going to break on the football. Right? So until Petzing puts on tape that he's willing to air it out and throw it downfield, you're probably going to get a lot of teams that say, hey, we're going to force you to run the football. If we can stop you running the football, we know you're not going to beat us over the top. So, I mean, this is one of those things that if he doesn't get it fixed, this offense fixed, and start taking some shots, and you got to execute the shots you take. You can't, we're not going out there to throw incomplete passes, but if you can't execute that, you're going to get a lot of shell, and it's going to be really hard for you to work a pass game in there.
Bo, like, how does the son of Marvin Harrison Sr., who skipped the combine to get ready for the season, who everybody from a national perspective, a scouting perspective, we've had Ohio State coaches on our show, and everybody said the same thing: generational, special, hardest worker in the room. He has no ego. We see it. Like, is it a question of like motivation right now? Like, because I do feel like maybe he had expectations of how he'd be used. He's not being used that way, clearly, and he checks out of the game. And like, that's not good. You don't want that. Like, I won't defend that. Like the lack of effort at times, or what it is perceived that way, you got to get that cleaned up. Like, but I also think as a 22-year-old when everybody's telling you you're the best ever, you're generational, we're going to tailor our offense around you, you're our wide receiver one, and then whatever the hell this offense is from Drew Petzing, I'm sure this is not something anybody could have predicted, especially Marvin himself.
No, it's not. I think we're in uncharted territory, unfortunately, even with all the kind of head-scratching moves throughout this franchise's history. Like, at least they have one of getting a number one wide receiver the football, even without, the appropriate ingredients to do so, like a good quarterback for most of his career. Like, he had spurts with, Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald did, but a lot of them were just ham sandwiches that really struggled to play at the NFL level. But with Marv, now 7 games, we'll call it 6 because he only played in 11 snaps the previous week. I'll keep going back to it. Just find a way to get him incorporated, feel it like the rhythm of the game, and maybe just see how it goes instead of just like, okay, we're going to get you involved. This is going to be where you're going to be the number one read and you're going to be the number one option, and then you're going to take a couple plays off. Like, it just doesn't seem to be working to get who's the most talented player on your team involved on the offensive side. We are going to talk, and we're going to hear from Kyler Murray, which is great. We've got some videos there, right, Johnny? And also heard from Kazir White and James Conner.
Yeah, we did hear from K1. Let me ask you this question, Bo. Like, they had to get this win. We very much feel like it's a season saver. Like, how are they able to build on this win, in your opinion, to get them to where they want to be in the NFC West? Like, do you believe, was the vibe around the team, this is a turning point, we took this win, we ran with it? Because in all actuality, they outplayed the Chargers tonight. They played better defense. They ran the football better. Like, save for Justin Herbert throwing up, a bunch of yards through the air. Like, Cardinals won time of possession. They won the turnover battle. They deserved, and they got this victory. And you have to give them that.
Yeah, I think they kind of were confident they were going to find a way. There was like the sense, especially from the offensive side, and Kyler's perspective and what he told us in the post game was the same as the 49ers win, where it's like, okay, we still haven't played our best football. We still think it's encouraging, but there was missed opportunities. There's that. Like, there was so many chances that they could have just flat out lost this game. But they found a way, and Brittan, like, you played under Bruce Arians, and he would always, like, people would kind of say, like, you got like a moral victory and a loss. He's like, no, I'd rather win ugly and then try to figure it out after that. Like, that's the easiest way to do. So they've got another ugly win under their belt, and still it's a very flawed football team. But like, I think a lot of people realize watching the broadcast on ESPN Plus was, This Chargers team does not have any talent on the offensive side of the football outside of its quarterback. Like, they're devoid of talent in the playmaking area, like, significantly. Like, this is probably the worst collection of playmakers I think I've ever seen play in the stadium before, outside of maybe the 2018 Cardinals. It really was. Like, who was there? It was like Trey Palmer and Lad McConkey and kid out of Stanford who was making plays, and a heavy dose of Will Dissly. Like, you're supposed to play winning football with that. And the Cardinals did exactly what they needed to do and kept them out of the end zone the entire game. So a credit to this defense for being able to step up and do what they're supposed to do. Now you got to have this offense. They played a bit of complimentary football, enough to win. But now, like, if they could just play better than that, like, where they could go as a team. Could they get back to 500? Could they get a game over 500? I think that's why people remain a bit frustrated even in a win.
Let's count some cards on a PHNX Cardinals post-game show with Bull Brock and Brittan Golden. Brittan, Kyler Murray, 2 touchdowns. James Conner, 152 yards from scrimmage. And, of course, Trey McBride, 51 yards through the air. They needed every bit of counting cards today to assure themselves, of course, brought to you by our friends at Gila River, of this dub.
No, agreed. I mean, and we've been talking about it since we've been on the air. James Conner, 152 total yards from scrimmage. If you can get that from him, every day, offensively, you're moving the football, right? You got a pass and touchdown again from Kyler Murray, which I think he's had one of those in pretty much every game this season. You got a rushing touchdown. We talked about that. What he said, it's his 20th game with 1-1, right? It's numbers you want to see. There's touchdowns on the board. And, McBride is doing what McBride does. I still don't think he gets the ball enough. But, I mean, it's to the point where if you can get the production out of James Conner that you're setting yourself up, for good things. But like you said earlier, Bo, if you don't get this pass game going and and trying to create some wins in the pass game, you become one dimensional. And now it's to the point where teams are scheming like the Chargers did today and say, we're just going to sit in cover 2. We're just going to force you to run the ball. And if we can stop James Conner, we know you can't do anything else with the football.
Damon, put that graphic back up, would you? Put that graphic back up there because I want to celebrate something special that happened tonight. Look at that 51 yards, Johnny. 51.
We
Trey
did
McBride
it.
over 50 yards receiving and a Cardinals dub on the money line. There it is.
Finally
Super
didn't lose a
boost,
bet.
baby.
Hooray!
50.
James
All
Conner.
the monies.
That's right. Boosted for your boys, from your boys. James Conner could have easily been the player of the game. Offensively, he certainly was. Let's hear from the Cardinals' standout Pro Bowl running back in his 17-15 dub.
No, I knew he was going. He had that good angle. And then, yeah, you can just tell it meant a lot to him. You see his celebration, you just kind of take a moment. He's back to balling, playing his game, doing what he does. So, yeah, once I seen him, kind of shake the defender off and he had the sideline, I just started going to the sideline, knew it was touchdown. Just playing ball, truthfully, just simple check down. K1 found me, just checked it down, and then the rest is just playing ball after that.
Great stuff from James Conner. I mean, what was the vibe around the players, Bo? I mean, you saw James, you saw K1. Was there a relief to get this dub? Because it does feel like for the Cardinals, you're in survival mode right now, mid-season.
Yeah, it's just find a way, right? I think that's what happened on that big 33-yard passing catch to James Conner. It was just like, hey, get the ball in your playmaker's hands and just hope he can make a play. And he breaks 2 big tackles, takes it down the sideline, and puts Chad Ryland in kind of a really good situation to kick through the game-winning field goal. I mean, that's what it was all about. Mostly after they got that gift. Not the gift. I mean, it was the right call as far as the personal foul penalty on the Chargers there with the helmet. But and you hear James Conner and Brittan. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this now. Like, it's 2 plays at the NFL level where Kyler Murray is 40 yards from the end zone, and he's basically checking it down. Like, he's shifting down at this point because he's so athletic and has so much speed. He's able to cruise in the end zone for his second touchdown from that far out of the end zone.
No, but it's what you want to see, and it's what got Kyler to where he is now, right? It's just the kind of stuff he did in college, and just creating big plays with his legs. And I don't know what the defender was doing. I don't know what kind of angle he thought he was going to take right there. I guess he thought Kyler was not as fast as Kyler is, but I mean, when he got to the corner, kind of what James said, we were sitting here in the studio. As soon as he got around the corner, you could hear us if he gets around this, and then we looked up, and it was kind of like, where's the rest of the Chargers defense? I mean, it was like there was nobody on the left side of the field.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can get plays like that, 40-yard runs, 20-yard runs, like big plays that, Kyler he's got to make something happen because nothing's available, right? You can get stuff out of him like that, and good things happen for your offense.
We got more from Bo Brack at State Farm Stadium right around the corner. Be sure to drop a like on this video. I'm going to ask Bo, hey, does this reopen the conversation? Should the Cardinals be buyers at the trade deadline? That's right around the corner.
Let's talk Sanderson Ford, Johnny.
Let's do it.
I mean, we love our friends over at Sanderson Ford. I mean, how could you not? Ford, they got all the vehicles. They got the Mustang, the Bronco, the Ford F-150, Ford Focus, Ford Fiesta, different strokes for different folks. That's the beauty of Ford. And yeah, our friends over at Sanderson Ford are the best in the business when it comes to just relating to people and helping you find a vehicle that's going to suit your needs. So, I mean, it really just doesn't get better than Sanderson Ford. There's a reason they got a 65-acre facility that makes them the largest Ford dealership in the nation. And it's also the most awarded Ford dealership for customer satisfaction in the nation. Go ahead, stop by the Starliner Diner for lunch in the middle of your day. You want to take a break from talking about cars, looking at cars, taking a test drive. That's what it's all about. Sanderson Ford, they're family-owned and operated for 3 generations, and they thrive on no hassle, no pressure, and no-nonsense sales approach. So choose Sanderson Ford. Get a new Ford F-150 with 3.9 APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 cash back. And if you trade in your Ram truck, get an additional $2,000 cash back. Get it all with no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense at Sanderson Ford. Offers AOC from Ford Credit and expire 10/31 for your next vehicle purchase or lease. Choose a dealership that gives back and pays it forward See dealership for details.
Sanderson Ford is big time, just like our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, the site of the PHNX Cardinals, PHNX Suns watch party. Speaking of the Suns, they got watch parties right around the corner. We're back there in November because it's elite. The one of their 4 locations, including my personal favorite, Wild Horse Pass. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Nobody does it better, folks. It's the biggest Arizona sportsbook casino in the great state of Arizona. They got 4,500 slots, live table games. Catch all the action at their Capacity Sportsbook or check out their grub, A Shula Steakhouse. I love me a steak, Brittan Golden. Check it out now. An unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement awaits you. They put the bar high. So belly up and let them show you what next level is all about. Again, watch parties right around the corner. Suns, PHNX Suns, get to hang with our favorites. Espo, Lindsay, Gerald, Eric Ruby joining the fold. We got a bunch of newbies on Suns that they want to see you at the watch party. And then, of course, myself, Brittan Golden, Damon, Dawg, and Bo. We're going to be back with all of you at the watch parties at Gila River. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Play at Gila.com for more information.
2 things they say about you, Johnny. You're a steak guy and you're a truck guy.
That's right.
Those are the 2 things.
I don't like that face.
I mean, I might have to agree with Bo's face right there because Johnny's not much of a steak guy.
That's hurtful. Bo, are you free to hang out for just a little bit more?
For sure. I've got this tractor behind me, so it's almost around the corner. We're good.
Okay, we'll put you on mute for just a hot minute. Let's get back to some of these super chats. Damon, Dawg.
Yeah, let's do it. Vondo 499. We finally won in the black jerseys and at home. It must be below freezing in AZ. Good team win. Hashtag go Cards.
Needed it. Doing some what is it? The Exorcist. Right around the corner with Halloween, there was an exorcism of the Cardinals' bad Monday Night Football vibes. So let's keep it going. Alex, I love it, my guy. 249.
I think that's pesos though, but
we
still appreciate you, Alex.
That's great.
Bald Goblin is pathetic. I believe that's about Drew Petzing. It hurts how the D plays its heart out. And this guy can't put a game plan to save his life on the other side. This shows how Gannon can rally his troops after a hard loss.
I mean, it was a great. I think it's thus far a career-defining victory for JG. Like, people may or may not have seen this game, but for Jonathan Gannon, like, your background is in defense. You won this game with defense. Yeah. You anointed Nick Rollis as your coordinator. Winning games like this, you don't apologize for it. You get the job done. You can hang your hat on it. And hopefully they're going to figure this out offensively. But I would rather it look like this than the alternative.
Steve Keim School of Drinking 199.
Certainly a choice.
Fire Drew Petzing.
A lot of fire Drew Petzings today. I may or may not have contributed to that during the broadcast. How about good job?
Good job, 499. Crazy how Cards just won as an underdog, and all the fans are talking about how much they've turned on MHJ and Petzing.
Well, is there a rationale for that, though, Brittan?
I mean, it's still too early to turn on Marvin Harrison. Yes, he's young. Do you want to see as high as he was drafted and what you saw in college, everybody was expecting more than what we've seen so far from Marvin Harrison Jr. But on the other side of it, I mean, we could sit here and whine about it all day long, but you've got to be better in the play calling instances. There's just, I don't know. It's not consistent. I mean, you have a good drive where it looks like you've got a game plan that works, and then the very next drive you come out, it's just 3 horrendous play calls, and it's like, what are we doing? So
Let me ask Bo. There's a play late in the game where Marvin Harrison Jr. makes a nasty double move, and he's wide open down the middle of the field. We want to take Bo off mute, Damon. Let's analyze that, because is it Kyler Murray's not looking at Marv? Is it he's not the primary read? Like, there was a lot of that going on in the first half. Like, walk us through that play late in the game with what you saw at the stadium.
That's the play where Trey McBride laid out to get us over the echelon to cash our bet, right, for his 50th first receiving yard. Yeah, that was Kyler Murray was in a scramble drill at that point.
He was under pressure.
Yeah, he was under pressure, and he was looking towards that side of the field and threw a dot right to Trey McBride, who hauled it in so we could all cash our Super Boost bet. That was the most important play of the game, in my opinion. You can put him on blast for missing him downfield, but I think it's similar to the Buffalo game where, like, he's streaking down the middle, and then you've got Trey McBride on the side of the field with Kyler, where it's just probably the play that made sense. He moved the chains on it. It turned out to be a first down. Sure, you would have liked the bigger play, but I'm not going to crush him for that. Like, that's an unfortunate victim, I think, of just replay, and you see somebody wide open and you just say, hey, it seems like an easy play, but like when Kyler Murray's got that defensive line bearing down on him, I mean, he's got to scramble and get out of pressure. I think that he made the right play, and it turned out well for him.
Well, that gives me hope too, because I feel like we're letting doubt creep into our mind. Like, can Marvin Harrison Jr. not play? Well, yes, he can. Like, he's got the physical attributes. Like, can we all agree on that? Like, he's got the height, weight, speed combination. He caught all the passes at Ohio State. He was an unbelievable college player. So, like, I have to contextualize it by watching that late in the game, and I'm like, well, what's happening here? I am putting almost 100% on his play right now being a shot confidence. Like, he knows he's not getting the football. There's no continuity. I'm not apologizing for it, but it's at least I can get my brain around that as compared to, can this guy just not play? Well, of course he can. Like, we saw it against the Rams. We saw it at the highest level of college football. His dad's in the Hall of Fame. Like, he can play, right? We know that, right?
No, he could play. I mean, like you said, a lot of it is confidence right now, and putting the ball on the ground does not help your confidence at all. I mean, but like we said earlier, body language is a big factor, right? If you're sitting there pouting, you're not going to be ready to make the play when it comes to you. So I think he's got to find a way to get that confidence. I've seen a lot of people in the chat, today talking about he needs to demand the football. He needs to find that little bit of cockiness, right? You find me a great receiver in the NFL. There's a little bit of cockiness, whether it's shown or not. You got to have that, kind of like that diva demeanor. Mm-hmm. All the really good ones are like, hey, I'm not getting the football. Give me the football. Find a way to get me the football.
Yeah.
Now go out there. Don't, just because you're not getting it, don't just go pout. Say something. Do something. Give me a little bit. I need a little bit of confidence, a little bit of cockiness, right? Look, the Justin Jeffersons, the DK Metcalfs, right? These guys, when you see them, they're not getting the ball, right? Jamar Chases, they go to the sideline, they make it known, like, hey, we got to find a way to get me the football. And then good things happen and come out of that. So, I mean, don't be over the top and, and mean about it and have a bad attitude about it, but go over there and, like, speak your mind, like, hey, man, I'm out here running for no reason. Give me the football. I'm open. We got to find ways to do it.
Damon, let's keep it going with these super chats, my guy.
Yeah, Gage Athletics, $4.99. Fans want to know why Marv doesn't get the ball. He uses his chest to catch every single time. Can't trust a receiver who can't catch away from his body.
I mean, we know he can catch with his hands. we watched it happen in college.
This is just
it goes back to the confidence part. I think the confidence is just not there right now.
He's shaking, so he's like, oh, I better secure
I gotta secure the pass. I don't trust this all the way right now because I don't have the confidence in this yet. And it's just we're allowing the ball to come in chest, and it's not being completed.
Let's get this from our guy Saul Bookman of ALLCITY, Damon Dawg.
Former GM Saul Bookman, $4.99. Kyler wasn't crisp, but he was good enough, especially with his legs. MHJ was doubled a lot, and for the love of God, run Connor from 1 yard out.
I mean, Bo, what'd you make of that? The double sneak from Drew Petzing, maybe the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's been out of the playbook all season long, and then they're just like, hey, let's bring it back. Let's go. For whatever reason, it's going to work now, and it's going to work down in a crucial situation.
But twice.
3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It's
double
like, guys,
sneak.
you have to be, If
you got stopped on the first time and, maybe they knew it was coming, maybe not. But, I mean, you put Clayton Tune in the football game. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work, and we said, hey, we're going to try this again. This sounds like a great idea. Maybe we'll catch them off guard. They won't be prepared for it. But you're in victory formation. You got 2 running backs right behind the quarterback. There's no you're not getting out of that. I thought that was just plain
I think
dumb.
they should cross-train, like, DJ Dallas to take the snap from center on that or something. Like, I mean, just take Clayton Tune out of the playbook for that. It's not going to work. They didn't run it for the entire first 6 games of the season for a reason. I think it was because he had a fumble. I don't even know if it was a preseason or in the regular season, but it seemed like they tabled that for a while, and then for whatever it was back. It was way back today, and it was a glaring play that nearly cost them everything.
I'd love to see Desmond Ridder have an opportunity to sneak that ball. Oh, wait, he is no longer with the team. He's been claimed by the Raiders off the practice squad. Damon, let's keep it going with these super chats.
Yeah, next one comes from Tay, $1.99. Cardinals better get wins against other states.
I have no issue with that.
We just own California.
I guess.
The California Cards.
I don't hate it. Just wins in general. This is a very beatable Miami team. We're going to talk about that. Let's keep it going, Damon.
Braden Grider, 199. Offense pass game equals gross. Defense equals aggressive.
Yes.
Live to see another day. That's what you want.
Chris, that guy, $2. Tips catch was possibly the play of the game. Fair.
That outside of the double sneak, that was the worst play of the game. No, Tip was doing great. I mean, listen, the offensive line has been sensational the last 2 weeks. I know Kyler Murray was scrambling a little bit, but like Kyler Murray's not taking sacks. This offensive line has been, paving the way for this run game. 181 up front. Like, can't ask for anything more. There's an opportunity to get Jonah Williams back here in a couple weeks. Like, it's a strength of the team again. And Tip Ryman's a part of that. So I'm not going to, he's playing a lot. Here's what I will say. Marv's playing a lot. Tip Ryman's playing a lot. Max Melton played a lot tonight, Bo. Like, the Cardinals could be a couple days away. Could Darius play on Sunday? Like, the rookies, they had their fingerprints on this game for better or worse. Like, that's promising, right?
Absolutely. I mean, what you saw from Max Melton, especially I think in the secondary, and we saw from Tip in the run blocking game, like that was his play of the game, was when he spurred James Conner for a first down, 10-yard carry early in the game, just going in there and absolutely erasing a Chargers defender out of that play, which was fantastic. And then, you sprinkle in a little catch. If you had him at over a half catch today on Bet365, you cashed that. Unbelievable. But look, I mean, it was you're starting to see more from this rookie class a little bit across the board, beyond Marvin, and then hopefully Darius. Like what we heard from Jonathan Gannon on Saturday about Darius Robinson, it does seem like, everything that's going up against the young man out of Missouri, from his health to, the loss of his mother, like that factor in him not being available. And I think that he's going to have an opportunity to get right on a short week potentially and make his debut against the Dolphins. We'll see. I mean, it would add a big boost to this defensive line, which played great, slowing down the run game, had 3 sacks from the interior of the defensive line. Ben Stilley gets elevated, gets the sack. Dante Stills and Naquan Jones also get to the quarterback. So, I mean, Jones probably kept points off the board with his 8-yard sack there against Justin Herbert. That was crucial for this team to take points off the board from the Chargers that were at a premium.
Let's do a little bit of by the numbers. Damon, Dawg, let's see those numbers for the Arizona Cardinals. The passing yards are what they are. We knew it coming into this game. The Cardinals, I thought, were finally going to open it up. Nope, wrong. They're going to run for 181 on the ground. I mean, the biggest stat in this game, holding the Chargers 59 yards rushing. Like, that's got to make Jim Harbaugh completely sick to his stomach. Brittan Golden, you had the 2 turnovers, helped yourself, really didn't, burn yourself outside that first quarter, and then the 3 sacks. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, you outplayed the Chargers at their own game.
Oh, and you did. You outrushed them. And then defensively, 1, you didn't allow a sack.
Yeah.
And 2, you got 3. And it's something that we haven't seen, right? We've been talking about the defensive line, or really the front 7 all year. We have no rush. We haven't been able to get to the quarterback consistently. We've had games where we've gotten to the quarterback, but it hasn't been a consistent thing. And, right, to say at the end of this game, right, we had 3 sacks compared to their 0, I think it's just a credit to what Rollis and the defense and JG had going. I mean, they came out, they played a good, solid game defensively, and at the same time, the run game worked. Offensive line did what they were supposed to do. You got good blocking from your tight ends, created holes, and James Conner did James Conner things, right? The pass game was abysmal, but it has been for most of the season, right? It's until that gets fixed, you're going to have to run the ball for 150-plus yards every game.
Absolutely. The defense. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, the turnover, 2 of those were on one play. It's like the Chargers pick off with the big man INT, and then, James Conner and Michael Wilson, they recover that funnel, which was a huge play. Like, actually, all 3 of those turnovers were key for the Cardinals not going down tremendous in this game. Like, if Kyler Murray throws a pick and they just take over in their own in the Cardinals territory, that's probably points. And then Justin Herbert was absolutely dealing on that opening drive. I was like, this is the worst but best start for the Arizona Cardinals I think I've ever seen. Like, 2 potential big plays for the Chargers pretty much wiped off the board that would have given them at least 10 points to just from the opening drives. That's it. I mean, it's for them to be able to come back, especially on the defensive side, and not do what they did in that first drive where, Justin Herbert was like 4 for 4 with 74 yards and a near touchdown. I think that was a true testament to Nick Rollis and his group today.
Let's keep these going. Damon Dawg, super chats. Let's start with 90s Poppy.
Yeah, 90s Poppy. Sean Murphy Bunting needs to ride the bench over Melton or play slot.
Let's keep it going, my guy.
Yeah, I'm going to skip the line a little bit. Topic 64 is talking about something that's on my mind. Where's that Charlie guy at? The Chargers fan that talks ish. I agree, Topic 64. He's MIA. He was in the pregame.
There
Where's
was
he
a
at?
few in there that were running their mouths, but it was all about, the ref saved you and blah, blah, blah.
We'll take it. I'll take whatever, as long as you get that dub.
Brian Abdallah, $5. I won my bet, but I still think Johnny owes me another good bet.
I think he owes a few more good bets.
Well, I actually didn't pick this bet. It was gifted to me by Shane Diefenbach, so I'll give it to Shane. I did. However, I was the only one on our pre-show on Friday to pick the Cardinals to win, unlike that fraudulent Bo Brock, Damon Dawg, and Craig Morgan. I picked the Cardinals, and they got the dub today, so I'm happy about that.
I'm happy about that too, Johnny. I'm glad that we were wrong and you were right. I think with the Packers game, there was some underlying stuff that went on with that, but you finally picked a game right.
Well, we can disclude or not include my game predictions on Friday with whatever the hell is going on at Hold and Fold the Line, which I am 0 for 7 on.
Another dub for me, by the way.
That's
Don't know
true.
if you saw that. YPGA Golf $4.99, and then comes back with another $4.99 here and says, here from South Korea, is Petzing allergic to throwing MHJ the football? He was wide open 40 yards down the field at one point.
The vertical passing game, first of all, thank you so much for the support, especially from South Korea. That's fantastic. I hope it's a decent hour where you're at. It's approaching quickly here, 10:30 Phoenix time. But yeah, the passing game vertically is just, at this point, everything's behind the line of scrimmage. The average yards per depth. Kyler Murray completed on average 5.6 yards per completion. I know we want to make this like a Marv thing. It's a receiver thing with Drew Petzing. This offense. It's why we asked Brian Baldinger this week, Bo. Should they just take it a tackle? It feels like this is not who they want to be. They want to be some rough and tumble offense. And Kyler Murray's not getting sacked. They haven't given up a sack in 2 games. They want to rush for 250 yards. They want to play ball control, but then don't take a receiver 4th overall. Look what you're doing to this kid.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. It's like the analogy of driving a Ferrari or a Porsche in a parking lot is perfect for this. It's just, you can't get away from it. It's just like, hey, here are the keys to it. It's like, okay, and then you just drive it from one space to the other, and then park it safely back, and then give the keys back. It's unfortunate, I think that the good thing is that they have now one less game that they're under 500. 2-5 would have been brutal, and the season would have been lost. But now they're right there sniffing 500 with the ability to pretty much come back home at that number, thanks to an ugly win and the ability to hopefully get right. But it's going to take them changing up some philosophies, not drastically, but tweaking them in order to get guys like MHJ and Michael Wilson even more involved in this game.
We got a super chat here from Espo 499 says, glad to see this team grit out a win, unlike Johnny's fantasy team.
Thanks, Debo Samuel. I'm being insincere. Debo's in the hospital and it's not good. But he did play in the game and he didn't score any points. That's why I lost this week to Espo. But prayers up to Debo. I hope he's okay.
Daniel Appel, $5. I'll take the W, but I can't get over that 3rd and 4th tush push. Also on that end around, if James Conner handed it to Kyler, it might have been a big play.
I didn't like that call.
No.
Either,
C. Manich, $4.99. Petzing bailed out. Playing not to lose, unacceptable. Plenty of issues, but hated kneeling at the end. Conner dominating. Plus, we kneel for the backup kicker.
Yikes. Big yikes. But, it
worked.
It did. Keep it going.
Maddox Hallam's $1.99. Announcers talking all night about MHJ disappearing.
Yeah, well, when you drop balls and you don't get targets, you're
running half routes.
pretty much a ghost.
You got to figure it out.
Nightingale Sunset, $2. Need to give Marv the slot to boost his confidence.
I would love to see Marvin get put in the slot. We saw that work in my time when they did that with Larry, right? Larry came from being outside most of the time. They put him in the slot, and he had arguably some of his best seasons of his career, in the slot. I think it's good. It forces defenses to change things up because now, you have your number one inside, right? Do you bring your number one corner and bring him inside and put somebody else outside? I don't know. It makes defenses think a little bit. And, I mean, I would love to see it. I don't know if they're going to do it, but.
Let's keep these going. Damon Dawg.
Brian L, $10. We won on the talent of Kyler and Connor. Fire Drew Petzing. Sports Hero, $2. Dirty Birds are back. Ugly Ducklings, LOL.
Ugly Ducklings is right. At least offensively, it's an ugly duckling.
Trevor Begay, $1.99. We can win the next 3 if the passing game is fixed.
They absolutely can win the next 3. They're 3-point dog at Miami this weekend only because Tua's back. But the defense plays like this, I think they're going to have some opportunities to get their hands on some of these balls from Miami.
Wolf Langus, $1.99. Thoughts on MHJ drops?
Not good.
They can't happen.
Correct them.
Get it fixed.
Yes, fix it, please.
Hashtag analysis. Julian C, $4.99. This is a doozy for me. So far, not holding the line. Can we get a statement from our hold the line president? What's your take on Marv's slow start? Have we been deceived? Hashtag HDL. Listen, I think we just got to trust the process. I still believe in our sweet baby Marvin. I always will. You can't make me not, even if there's a fire. And I think Marv's going to figure it out. Marv and Kyler are going to figure it out. Kyler needs to look for him a little bit more. Marv needs to play with effort on every play, even if he knows he's not getting the football. And as the season goes on, that connection will get better. Trust.
Well said.
Just Giggles, $2. Johnny, are you seriously complaining about a win?
Yes, I'm allowed. We're doing a 60-minute post-game show. I'm not going to smooch the team for 2 hours. Like this team.
Especially when it wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough watch. It was a dub, and it keeps the season alive. I'm fired up about that. But let's get back to Bo Brack here. I do want to ask Bo, the trade deadline's about, 10 days away? Did the Cardinals put themselves back in a position to be buyers? Or are they very much, let's stand pat. We're playing good defense. We got Darius right around the corner. Like, I certainly don't think they're going to be sellers now. Like, we're not going to see Budda Baker be jet-setted or James Conner. But, I mean, like, with winnable games now on the schedule, we talked about it. Can they get to the bye at 5-5, which seems very doable at this point? Like, what do you make of the next 2 weeks here before Halloween?
Yeah, you definitely have to monitor it, right? I mean, I think even if you fall to 3-5, it doesn't completely put you out of there as to be buyers. And I think it takes you completely out of the conversation as far as being sellers because of when it falls, right? It's after the game against Miami. So I think that completely removes the sellers conversation. But could they monitor some things? Could they maybe look at some dead carcasses of NFL teams like the Cleveland Browns out there? Absolutely. Monty's got his phone on him, I would bet, at all times and is looking at all situations just to improve incrementally. And if it's late round draft picks to get some guys that, need a change of scenery or at the end of their, like in the final year of their contract, and they're not going to, contribute to the Cleveland Browns the rest of the year, why not? Why not take them off their hands for a 6th or 7th round pick and improve your defensive front seven or wherever else that may be?
Let's keep it going, Damon Dawg.
Yeah, we'll go back to Steve Keim's burner here, $1.99. Constant contested catches are killing Marv's confidence.
Yeah, I think the route tree and combined with that and the fact that he doesn't seem to know when the ball is coming his way. Like, yeah. I thought with that first pass he caught, I'm like, okay, here we go. They're going to get him in a rhythm here, and they never got back.
And then
to
it was
rhythm.
then it was nothing.
It's like, what was it? What's that movie? Talladega Nights. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands here. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this route tree, Drew. Come on, Drew. What is this offense, Drew? Keep it going, Damon.
Josh, $5. Kyler isn't the problem. 8 drop side receivers is atrocious. Petzing's play calls were a lot better. Not 100%, but it falls on pass catchers to catch it.
I think everybody has a part to play. Like, Drew, I think, is the biggest because he's calling plays, but like, you can't argue, Josh. Like, there's no vertical passing game right now.
None.
Even on the game-winning drive, it was things behind the line of scrimmage. James Conner's play was behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's Kyler running around trying to avoid sacks, and then just it turns into a check down, which it sucks to watch it on TV. Nobody wants to sit here and watch your quarterback throw check down routes all game long. Now, when you got a guy like James Conner that can make 33-yard plays happen out of a check down, it's fun to watch, but you want to see this vertical pass game start to show, and a lot of it is play calling. A lot of it is putting your guys in situations to even be able to throw the ball downfield. And I think there's situations where we're not establishing, the play where you're not establishing a run play early in the drive to open up a deep throw downfield, or it's predictable. By the time you get into a situation to throw it deep, it's 3rd and long, and we know you're throwing it deep. So, we can switch defenses up to that. I think the predictability is very bad with Petzing right now, and he's a predictable OC, and he's got to fix that.
Let's keep it going, Damon, Dawg.
Jaden Castile, $2. Offense is like watching slow, agonizing drowning. Patrick Early, $4.99. JV predicted the score. No, they spread the ball to playmakers, bad throws, and bad drops, but it wasn't all that ugly. Beat a top D and hold them to only field goals. Did you predict the score?
No, I think it was 24-21. I gave the Cardinals too many points, but I mean, I picked them to win. I had no confidence in doing so, so I can't take credit here.
We got Chris Staples, $4.99, says, we can nitpick, but we ran the ball at an elite level, controlled field position plus defense. Marv clearly still dealing with concussion issues. HTL, fam.
I think Marv is just dealing with the fact that this offense is not playing to maybe his strengths, and Marv is not comfortable. Like, if you've ever been in a job or in a new position or your comfort, you have to have a comfort level. Marv looks like he's never played football before. Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like they have a converted, like, it's like when they bring in tight ends from Australia and they got them running around out there. That's what it looks like. It's brutal. Like, didn't the Cardinals have a guy from Australia come and play tight end with them for Bo? Isn't that what happened?
Oh, man.
That's so disrespectful.
I'm being serious. It's like, hey, this guy's a rugby player and he just started playing in the NFL. That's what it looks like.
It looks like the Aaron Hernandez TV show where it's just got a bunch of actors out there trying to run around. No, that's so disrespectful. No, I think that it's gonna, like I said, get him in a position, catch some footballs, get into rhythm for once. Just force feed him the football for a series early in this game and just see what happens. I think that's really what it comes down to. That's all I want to see. Like, I don't think that he's lost his ability to go out there, but I do feel like it's like, like you're asking a guy to play without the ball, not be involved in the offense, and then when you call his number, go out there and immediately make plays. It's just it doesn't happen that well. Like, Larry could do that, but Larry was entrenched in this league. Like, Larry made himself undeniable and was self-made and did that along the way and had to do it almost a flight or fight reason. Like, Marvin, I think that it's his first season. He's still getting acclimated, but they could do a better job in helping him out.
My guy Mike D in the chat, I meant no disrespect by the Australian comment. I love our friends in Australia. That was only in reference to the Cardinals. Austria, excuse me. Man, I'm just, but geography is not my strong suit, it looks like somebody who is uncomfortable playing American football. That's what it looks like. Damon, let's keep it going.
Before we move on, I just want to say I started a poll and said, would we hit our 1,000 like goal that you set at the beginning of the show? And we have 73% of people saying, yes, we will, but we have 625 votes on this poll and 500 likes in the chat. Let's up that. If you're if you're hitting the poll, hit that like on the on the video for us.
Just a click.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But Brian L, $5. Fire Drew, F Steve Keim. Not reading the rest of that. Joey Kennedy, $1.99. GG's K1 should never not take the snap on 4th down.
100%. That was a joke. Let's be better.
Lil Dreezy 13, $1.99. Don't forget about Trey McBride, big game, top 3 tight end.
He was very good. He needs more until you figure out this situation with Marv.
He needs way more targets.
This offense needs to run through 85 and number 6.
Alberto E, $9.99. Great win on my son's birthday.
Hey, happy birthday to your son, Alberto. And I'm glad he got this dub.
Chaz, $1.99. BG, JV, D-Dog, Bo, thank you all for your service. We appreciate you.
Yep, we are thrilled to be able to travel to Miami and give you guys coverage this weekend, and we're thrilled to be able to do it with a dub. That would have been tough. Tough sell, 2-5, heading to South Beach. But we get to go screw around and have some fun with the great people of Florida.
Chris, we are at your super chat, sir. $2. Harrison can't catch a cold at this point. Done.
You got to get the confidence back up. But, I mean, I'm not going to push back. It looks bad right now.
Good job, $4.99. Came here to celebrate a win, but everyone here is miserable and furious. All the whining takes the joy out of the win.
Listen, I apologize if I'm coming off too negative. I fully expected the Cardinals to blow that game at the end.
It's just more of what you know they can do. I think it's what the devastating part is. You know that there's more in the tank and there's more that they can be doing offensively with the weapons that they have, it's tough to watch. Like he said, watch somebody slow, agonizing, drowning.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to watch. And yes, we're happy for the win. Don't get me wrong. It's not that you don't want to see the win. You just don't. You're tired of bad football.
Let's keep it going, Damon.
Let me
Go
say
ahead,
this.
Bo.
I mean, I think, look, ugly wins are part of the process. They are.
Yeah.
Like, even when things start to click, there's going to be some days, because this league is so good, it's so elite, that defenses are going to take your offense down. That you would like to see more of a consistent performance before this, but finding a way, that's part of the process. Like Brittan, you guys went through it in 14, or even before in 13. Like 13 and 14, there were some ugly wins along it. Like, look at Tom Brady and the Patriots. I'm not saying that's who they are, but he had ugly wins the entire way along. And I mean, I think what they can do as far as creating some goodwill is to get this offense at some point back on track. But if they can hold their head above water here at 3-4, and they haven't played anywhere close to their best ball on what they view as their strength of this team, I think it's a bit encouraging to think, okay, they can there's time to right this ship, and they haven't completely sunk themselves. So I agree with good job. Like, this is a win that you should be celebrated. This is a team that came in at 3-2, that you beat them at their game, and there's something to it, and there's still time to figure out how to get your quarterback on the same page with your top playmaker.
Yeah.
Brewski 523 goes back to back here, $4.99 to start, and says, I was there in Buffalo week 1 and said to my brother, Buffalo fan, if 87 or 0 is out there, it's a run. Can we talk about Kyler showboating at the 45 again, LFG? And then comes back with, FYI, I'm an Ohio State fan in Columbus, Ohio. Marv is him.
He is him, and he will be him again.
Going.
We just got to, I guess we need some patience here for the most pro-ready prospect of the modern era of the NFL. But we will have patience, because what choice do we have at this point? LVL7, keep it going.
Yeah, $1.99. Drew should have been fired at halftime.
Listen, I don't know if Jonathan Gannon would fire a coach in season the way that was trending, and the questions that JG would have been asked about this. You're not replacing Kyler Murray. They're not benching Kyler Murray if they don't win this game for Clayton Tune. Like, Kyler is playing the rest of this year. The only move that you could make, you're not getting rid of Marv. They have too much invested in guys like Marv and Kyler and Trey. They have too many good players offensively. Well, who's pulling the strings? Who's the puppet master? Your offensive coordinator. So again, that's why, like, when I make the points I do on social media and we complain about it, it's like, that's the most logical change that they will make is Drew Petzing. Yeah. And I like Drew Petzing, but you can't deny his offense right now is prehistoric when it comes to throwing the football. I don't know if this is sustainable long term. We're going to find out. Like, they're going to need to score multiple touchdowns to win the game in Miami. We're going to preview that here in a second on PHNX Cardinals on a post-game show. Plus, we're going to get to the rest of your super chats right around the corner. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, the official credit union of the Arizona Cardinals, the Venerable household, and PHNX Sports. Desert Financial, it's a financial institution. Up your financial game right now with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, the official credit union of the Arizona Cardinals. You can rep the Red Sea with the Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card. Desert Financial is a team of financial experts who are committed to their members. I'm a member. You should too. It's bigger than just a transaction going to an ATM. They've got savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Look to Desert Financial for all of your banking needs. Check them out right now. Show your team spirit. Open up a free checking account online and get an Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card for free. Go to desertfinancial.com and /Cardinals to get started. Sign up in a matter of minutes. Debit card is in the mail just a couple days after the fact. Desert Financial Credit Union. Level up your financial acumen today. And how about leveling up with our friends at Blue Chew, Damon Dawg? You want to help us level up with Blue Chew?
You think that, yeah, I mean, I guess if this is what we're doing right now,
yeah, it is.
I'll help us out with the Blue Chew read. And of course, Drew Petzing, not the best impression he's given to start this season off with the Arizona Cardinals, but if maybe he needs to hit up Blue Chew. I heard it helps with first impressions. And I mean, make sure if you can have fun with it. Oh my God.
You can have fun. Yeah, listen, you can have fun with our friends at Blue Chew. All right. They are a place where right now They can talk to you about first impressions. If it doesn't work, listen, check them out. You get a month for free with our friends at Blue Chew. I got full confidence in them, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when using our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Pay just a mere $5. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ALLCITY. You're going to receive your first month for free. You could be missing out right now on your best sex of your life, and don't do that. Level up with our friends at Blue Chew. With Blue Chew, men everywhere are excited to see the postman because when your package arrives, your package has arrived, friends. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, in Blue Chew, unlike Drew Petzing's confidence, it's not shot. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s confidence, it's not shot. Blue Chew can give you confidence when it counts. Again, special deal with our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free. Bonus code ALLCITY for the checkout. Pay just $5. And again, become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. We talked about it all show. Pick up a free hat and or shirt. Check out Craig Morgan's work at GoPHNX.com. Bo Brock, Johnny Venerable, Damon, Dawg. We're going to get to your final super chats here in a minute, but we're going to go around the room. I'm going to start with you, Bo Brock, looking ahead to the Miami Dolphins, a game we're going to be at in South Beach come Sunday. What is the recipe for success? Is this sustainable the way the Arizona Cardinals are currently winning games?
No, it's not, but it's a good precedent to set as far as on the defensive side of the football, going up against an offense that's going to look to get back on the right track after just several weeks of just futility. I think that with Tua getting back in the fold, Tyreek, Cheetah's going to want to get back on. So is Waddle. And look, you showed that you can go up against a quarterback that can toss the ball all around the yard. But, you're going to have to be able to keep up with them offensively. And I don't think you're going to have the opportunity if you play like a game you did today. But, look, this moves the chains a little bit. It's a little bit NCAA March Madness tournament, survive and advance. You're able to advance in your season here, and things aren't lost, and you're going into Miami at 2-5. This was a big win for the team to scratch and claw their way to, and a tip of the cap to the players that made it happen. Players on the defensive side of the football, Kyler Murray, and, of course, James Conner, making a play when nothing was really there with 33 yards, takes it down, and puts it in place for Chad Ryland to kick through the game-winning field goal. So it was a gritty win, and you just move forward and hopefully build off of it, especially in that passing attack. Hopefully you can kind of kickstart it a little bit this weekend on a short week.
I mean, what do you do with Marv this week?
I mean, you're going to have to get the run game started next week. That's going to be the big thing. You got to get James Conner going early, and then I'm hoping that there's something in the game plan next week to find a way to get Marv involved early as well. I mean, like I said, establishing the run is the start. If you can do that and you can force him to have to come down and play man, load the box to stop the run, now you're getting some one-on-ones. Now you got to trust your receivers to get open one, but I mean, try to find ways to get Marv. If you can get man coverage early, we got to get the ball in Marv's hands early. Try to get that confidence going, as well as Michael Wilson and Zay Jones, right? We got Zay out here too now, back from suspension. So, I mean, you got to get your playmakers the ball, and the offensive attack has got to feature some passing. And whether you're not going to be able to even get yourself a situation if you can't run the ball. So I think establishing the run on this Miami defense early will get you in some situations where you can attack them downfield.
Damon, let's keep it going. These super chats, my guy.
Yep, let's do it. We got 5 left here. Baharo3 says Dan Campbell was smart to change OCs in year 2.
How about it?
Steve Kimes Burner's back, 199. Drew won't let Marv touch the middle of the field.
Drew doesn't let Kyler Murray throw the pass beyond 10 yards, it feels like. Everything looks difficult. And we're gonna press Drew Petzing this week when he's made available. Like this this passing game, eventually the chickens are going to come home to roost here. Push has got to come home to shove. Like this is not an NFL offense right now. Anybody can see that. Like they earned this victory tonight. But what this is, I mean, we channeled it. We charted this. Drew Petzing's got 100-yard receiving game from a wideout in 24 games. It's not sustainable.
Dre 199 meal charges need to be back for Drew and Drew only.
Charge him to eat lunch.
Drew goes up and he thinks Drew, we're gonna need your credit card, sir. You're gonna need to pay for that mac and cheese, Drew. Let's keep it going with Richard. Richard 199. When do we see Michael Carter?
I think they're riding James Conner till the wheels fall off. I think James Conner is going to be here and running the football indefinitely. And Trey Benson didn't get one touch tonight. And maybe play your best players until it doesn't work anymore.
The Amari Dermacado surprise run almost fully worked.
Bo texted us that tongue-in-cheek that they were going to do that, and then they actually did it, which made me want to throw my phone, Bo.
I was sitting next to our guy, Donnie Donuts, from the press box, and I said, watch, they're never going to see this one coming. Amari Dermacado, 3rd and 16 drop play. And nearly took it. He took it 15 yards, and then they ended.
Got close.
They punted. He got close. I'm surprised they didn't try to go for it there.
I thought they
but
did.
thank God they didn't. Thank God they didn't, because you know what play probably would have been in the playbook at that point.
Sneak. Damon, finish this off here.
Ryan Carley, $2. Any on team who are a hypothetical Drew replacement?
Yeah, Drew Terrell, the passing game coordinator. So one Drew for another. Drew Terrell, though, like, it's hard to tell like how much impact Drew Terrell is having on this passing game. I know he's the heir apparent to Drew Petzing if Drew Petzing were to ever leave for a head coaching job. But you've got to be in a position now, take this win, build off of it, and really help Marvin build his confidence back up. Like that's where you have to be. And you can help Marv indirectly by supporting the number 18 collection, so he can go to games at State Farm Stadium. Can't see his jersey, but he can see some of this fine merch on display. The number 18 collection, Maserati Marv, MHJ, 1 + 18 = 6. You can get a free shirt or several right now. Go PHNX.com, becoming a diehard. We're diehard for this, man. Bo Brack, before we sign off, my friend, thank you so much for sticking with us on the field. Any final thoughts before we head out and put a bow on this podcast, this post-game show on a Monday Night Football dub?
No, I'm just glad that the team found a way to get this dub tonight. It was so important, able to keep this season relevant. 2-5 would have been disastrous. So for them to be at 3-4, going on the road, being able to maybe get a win at Miami, that'd be huge for this team. But they're certainly not a perfect team. They're far from it. They're flawed, and they know where their flaws are. Where can they get better? You hope that they can make some work and chip away at it this week. I mean, with Michael Wilson 1 catch and Marv with 3, it's just not enough production from some big-time playmakers that we were expecting huge things from before the season began.
Our playmakers have been on display all week. Brittan Golden, big thanks to you. Big thanks to Damon. Get a free Pit Boss Grill with the Pit Boss Grill giveaway. New information is in the description. We'll put a link in the comments. Everybody like this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you think the Cardinals should do offensively down below. The minute this video is over, drop a comment. It helps exponentially. We want to know your thoughts. Everybody go to their mobile phone, their smart device, follow, like, subscribe to the PHNX Cardinals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Big thanks to everybody in front of the camera, behind the scenes today. Big thanks to the Cardinals saving their season, moving to 3-4, en route to South Beach Boys in Miami. We got full coverage all week long. We're back tomorrow on a Football Tuesday. How about some Mina Kimes tomorrow? What's wrong with MHJ? What's right with Nick Rollis' defense? That and more for Bo Brack, Brittan Golden, Damon Dawg. I'm Johnny Venerable. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.